focus standard we're looking at here says 60, and it says I can recognize the relationship between cube numbers and cube roots. So we're thinking about cubes, actual cubes, when we're dealing with cube numbers and cube roots. So this is the geometric part of it. This is the algebraic part of it, and putting those pieces together. All right, it says the volume of the large cube is 125 cubic inches. I'm gonna write that in there. The volume of the small cube is 27 cubic inches in there. What is the difference between the two of them? What is the difference between the length of one side? So I want to know the difference between the length of one side of the large cube minus the length of the smaller cube. Okay. So difference being subtraction there. And again, it's just the sides. So we know when we are dealing with a cube that we are going to take a side length times a side length times that same side length to equal the cube, the volume of the cube. So that looks like x cubed is going to be what we have inside there. Well, what we have inside there is 125 cubic inches. And in order to undo 125 or undo that cube, we cube root everything. So we can say the side length, if the side length is x, then the side length is the cube root of 125. That's that side length. And so let's put that into a number that makes sense to us. And so if it's cube root, then it's something times something times something to equal 125, right? Because that's what we have up here. And that something is 5 times 5, because that equals 25, times another 5 equals 125. So this side length is 5. And then again, going through that same process, we know this is something times something times something to equal 27. So we could write that as x cubed equals 27, because repeated multiplication is exponents. And to undo that, I'm going to say x, the side length of x, is the cube root of 27, because those are opposites. And so I've got to figure out what those three numbers are, or what that number is repeated 3 times to equal 27. And so I know I've got to work backwards and know that 3 times 3 is 9 times 3 is 27. So if I'm finding the difference, then it is 5 minus 3, then our difference is 2. The side length difference is 2 cubic inches. Okay. Next, write the equivalent integer for each cube. Integer is a whole number and their opposites. And knowing that we should have 0 through 5 memorized for cube roots in 8th grade. And so we're thinking about what times what times what equals 64. What times what equals 64. And I know that 4 times 4 equals 16 times another 4 equals 64. So therefore, it equals 4. Right? This equals 4. And here we've got cube root of 8, so what times what equals 8. And I know that 2 times 2 is 4, times another 2 is 8. So therefore, cube root of 8 is 2. Right? Doing the on your own below and turning it in and signing up for a retest.